catch me howling at the moon.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Park Pros. For several years, the future of Six Flags Great America's Intamin Impulse Coaster V2, or Vertical Velocity, has been widely speculated upon. In 2017, rumors started swirling after Screamscape relayed news from a park source that V2 was likely on its way out after the 2017 season. Those rumors resurfaced in 2019 after Max Force debuted at the park, with Great America not really having a need for V2 anymore with the addition of a newer, better launch coaster. And most recently, with the park quietly announcing 2 weeks ago that V2 would close for the season after Labor Day weekend, it seemed like there was a fair chance that V2's removal or relocation was imminent, especially in light of the news that Cedar Point was removing their impulse coaster, Wicked Twister. But this past weekend, parkgoers were greeted by this sign outside of V2's station, all but confirming the Impulse Coaster will be receiving a retheme and will remain at Six Flags Great America for the foreseeable future. In this video, we'll talk about what to expect from this V2 retheme and what it means for the future of the park. But first, if you guys are new to my channel or have been checking out some of the other videos lately, don't forget to subscribe because it really does help out the channel a ton. So this sign outside of V2 station states, V2 is closed for the rest of the season. We'll be back in a flash in 2022. So obviously this sign is hinting towards V2 being rethemed to the DC Comics superhero Flash for the 2022 season. It's worth noting that V2's cousin Impulse Coaster at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, which originally opened in the same year with the same name, was rethemed to the Flash Vertical Velocity in 2019 to fit the park's new DC section of the park, alongside the opening of their new 4D free spin coaster, Batman the Ride. Now obviously, just across the midway from Great America's version of V2 stands Batman the Ride, and the Joker opened in the same area of the park in 2017. This V2 retheme also kind of aligns with the rumor that Magic Mountain's new RMC Raptor is also going to be themed to the Flash. So it kind of seems like the Six Flags chain is reaching into the Warner Bros. IP bag to pick out a new superhero theme to bring into the rotation for their new coasters, since at this point just about every Six Flags park has a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Joker themed ride. In terms of the paint scheme, Flash at Discovery Kingdom received red track with yellow supports when it was rethemed in 2019, but conversely, the Magic Mountain Raptor is going to have yellow track with red supports. So while those are probably the two likely combinations for Great America's V2, knowing Six Flags, it'll probably just be easier and cheaper for them to slap a new coat of paint on the already existing yellow track and then just paint the blue supports red. So that's what I'm expecting it to look like. This retheme of V2 to a DC superhero, considering its proximity to Batman and Joker, kind of fits the trend we've seen in the Six Flags chain of parks grouping their DC-themed rides together. Which begs the next question. What is the future of Yankee Harbor at Six Flags Great America? For those unfamiliar, Yankee Harbor is the New England harbor-themed area of the park where all these aforementioned coasters are located. Yankee Harbor is one of the original 5 themed areas that Marriott's Great America opened with in 1976. In addition to these 3 now DC-themed roller coasters, Yankee Harbor is also the home to Whirligig, a zero wave swinger, and Yankee Clipper, an aerodynamics hydro flume, 2 attractions that also opened with the park in 1976. To this day, Six Flags Great America still has all of its 5 original theme sections still intact, but with this V2 retheme, could Yankee Harbor be in jeopardy? The 2 original Marriott-themed attractions are now outnumbered by 3 DC-themed coasters, and we've seen swing rides similar to Whirligig get the DC supervillains treatment at parks like Over Georgia and Fiesta Texas. And while it would be a shame to see one of the park's original rides lose its Marriott theming, we've seen that Six Flags isn't above slapping DC theming on historic attractions. So it definitely seems like it's within the realm of possibility that Six Flags Great America could completely ditch the Yankee Harbor name and just rename the area to Gotham City or DC Universe or something stupid like that. In my opinion, it'd be shameful to get rid of one of the park's original themed sections, but at this point the DC IPs are so prominent in that area anyways, there's not really a lot of remnants left of the Marriott level immersiveness that Yankee Harbor once had. Still, it'd be a shame and very disappointing to see the park take another step away from the way Marriott intended the park to be themed and towards the blandness of Six Flags corporate theming. So how does this V2 retheme impact the future of the park going forward? First of all, it looks like the park's streak of receiving a new roller coaster every 2 to 3 years dating back to 2008 is now over. In my opinion, it's highly unlikely that V2 will receive any layout modifications that would put it in consideration for anything more than just a retheme, although I'd love to see it get the 45-degree inline twist that its cousin coaster in Northern California has. But barring anything crazy like that happening, Great America's coaster streak now seems to be over. Now obviously this isn't too shocking considering the events of the world and how they've affected the theme park industry over the last 18 months, but part of me thought that the V2 removal rumors were lining up perfectly with the introduction of the mock power splashes into the Six Flags chain. When Aquaman Power Wave was announced for Six Flags Over Texas in 2019, the first thing I thought was, that would be a perfect replacement for V2. Ever since the removal of Splashwater Falls in 2008, Great America has kind of had this void of missing another thrilling water ride in their lineup. Buccaneer Battle was a complete flop, Roaring Rapids was closed this season for a refurb, and as of late, the park has only been operating one of the flumes at a time. I was kind of thinking that V2 would be sent to Six Flags America or La Ronde after Max Force opened, and that a power splash could fit nicely in its place in the Yankee Harbor Bay. Aquaman could have replaced V2 as a launch coaster that also goes backwards and would add another thrilling water ride to the dry park's lineup, while still satisfying Six Flags' strange desire to theme seemingly every new attraction to DC properties. Plus, getting rid of that big ugly concrete block that V2 sits on would have really opened up the views of the log flumes and would have made this area of the park look and feel a lot more open. Having another water ride would also give the park an excuse to finally remove Buccaneer Battle and have that area available for something like a Giga Discovery or RMC Raptor in the future. Obviously, none of that's going to happen now that we know that V2 is confirmed to be staying at the park, but depending on how smoothly Aquaman opens at Over Texas in 2022, I wouldn't be surprised to see Great America get its own power splash in place of Buccaneer Battle or even the log flumes in 2023. Regardless, I think Six Flags Great America holding on to V2 for the meantime is a smart idea. The Six Flags chain is obviously suffering from the financial effects of the pandemic, and if we're not going to be seeing a ton of huge new projects throughout the parks in the coming years, at least it seems like we'll be getting refurbishments of existing rides who need some TLC, like V2. I just really hope it isn't at the expense of the park's original theming. That's all I got for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this Flash retheme of V2. If you haven't yet, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out the Coaster Rundown, a show I do with my friend Coaster John where we cover the latest theme park and coaster news right here on Park Pros. Thank you all for checking out the video, and we'll see you all next time.